was quite good, but Viva exam was
Can
not
you
that
hear
much.
me? Because I can't actually hear you properly. Is it because of my network issues or hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I can hear
Okay.
you.
So I'm asking that how was your written exam and Viva exam?
Written was quite good, but Viva is not that much good.
Okay, so look, the thing I've observed during the first term exam as well as in midterm exam, if I want, I can divide the all these answer script in three categories. Okay, suppose, I mean, based on the answers you have written, suppose this is question number 1. Okay, I can find three different ways. I mean, you have written the answer in three different ways. Suppose 20 people followed the first pattern, the next 15 or 20 people follow the second pattern, and then rest of the students follow the third pattern. Okay, so why that happened? And look, when the student who has actually written it, so the other students follow him, right? So the mistake he has made, all the other students just followed him. This is really disappointing. I don't know what we have to do. All the mistakes are same. I don't know how to stop this really. Okay, let me start with the first one. Okay, your midterm script. I was really disappointed. So question number 1: how many times I discussed this answer in the class? How many times I've drawn the figure? How many times? The first question is briefly describe the protected mode memory architecture of Pentium processor with the appropriate figure. You just downloaded some pictures, some architecture. You don't even know that which pictures you have downloaded from the internet. You just draw it. What will be the answer of this question? That briefly describe the protected mode memory architecture of Pentium processor with the appropriate figure. You know that Pentium is a 32-bit processor as well as it has an address bus of 32-bit, and the number of accessible memory depends on the address bus, isn't it? So if it has a 32-bit address bus, so its accessible memory is 2 to the power 32, which means that 4 gigabyte, isn't it? What is Pentium 32-bit processor? This Pentium is a 32-bit processor, right? And it has an address bus of 32-bit. And the number of accessible memory depends on this address bus. So the accessible memory space is 2 to the power 30. You just added that it supports paging, segmentation, but you skip this one. This is the main important point of this question, that its accessible memory is 2 to the power 32, that is 4 gigabyte. Okay, but the question was about protected mode. Okay, so we know that the previous version of Pentium processors such as 8086, 8088, 8026, 8088 and 186, so this processor supports only one mode, that is real mode. In real mode architecture, only the first 1 megabyte data are accessible. So the rest of the data can be accessed in which mode? In the protected mode. So you just have to draw the memory architecture. Suppose this is the computer memory, okay, and these are all the 4 gigabytes data memory spaces. So in protected mode, the first 1 megabyte data as well as the data above 1 megabyte till 4 gigabyte. Okay, so all these data are accessible in protected mode memory architecture. That will be the answer, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the answer of, then if you want, you can add some additional facts, that is it supports paging as well as segmentation. Then question number 2, maximum of you made mistakes here. Okay, so question number 2 is convert the following high-level language code into the 3 address machine assembly language code. Look, I didn't mention about the load and store instruction. Okay, so here you don't need to actually add load or store instructions. So you just have to convert it into 3 address machine assembly language code, which means that each instruction will have how many operands, how many addresses? 3 addresses. One is destination address and 2 source addresses, right? So look at this instruction, y equals to p plus q minus w into s plus x minus y. All are these arithmetic operation. How many operators are here? 3 operators. Plus, minus, multiplication. And all these operators are supported by Pentium processor, so you can easily convert it into, 3 address machine, that is RISC processor. So from where we will start? Which operator will be evaluated first? The instruction is y equals to p plus q minus w into s plus x minus y. So which operation will be evaluated first? Which one?
Multiplication.
Very good, multiplication. In this statement, y is the destination operand. Y is the destination operand. So here at first, multiplication of this one will be executed. So our first instruction will be opcode, that is MULT, and you can take any other memory location or register, and that one will be R1. This is the destination operand, and 2 source operands are W and S. After that, the result W into S will be stored in the destination register. So R1 equals to W into S, right? And now, after that, if you want, you can add P with Q, right? So now you can take another register R2, then keep the result P plus Q inside that register. So the next instruction will be add R2. One operand is P, another is Q. And now the result P plus Q will be stored in R2 register. So R2 equals to P plus Q. So now you got W into S and then P plus Q. The next one can be, you can subtract W into S from P plus Q. Okay, so for the next instruction in any register R1 or R2 can be the destination operand. Okay, so the opcode is sub and R2 is the destination register. It's the source operand as well as, R1 is the second source operand. Look, this is subtraction operation and this value R1, that is W into S, will be subtracted from P plus Q. So you can't write R2, then R1, then R2. This is your first source operand. From this operand, you are going to subtract the value of the second register. Okay, so the instruction will be sub R2, R2, R1. So this is the first source operand, this is the second source operand. Now the result, P plus Q minus W into S will be stored inside R2 register. So R2 equals to P plus Q minus W into S. After that, you can add X with this result, P plus Q minus W into X. So add R2, R2, X. Okay. So now R2 equals to P plus Q minus W into S plus X. And then the next instruction will be for the subtraction operation. And here we can use Y as the destination operand. So what will be the instruction? The opcode is sub and the destination operand is Y. Now tell me, which one will be your first source operand, R2 or Y? Which one will be your first source operand? You have to subtract Y. No, you made the mistakes here. Y can't be your first operand, because this is subtraction operation and you are going to subtract the second operand from the first operand, and your first operand should be R2, P plus Q minus W into S plus X. So the first operand is R2 and the second operand is Y. That means you're subtracting Y from the value of R2. And in the comment, you can add the comment R2 equals to P plus Q minus W into S plus X minus Y. Clear? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Some of you,
Yes, ma'am.
at first you multiply this two operand W into S. After that, you did, after this instruction, you have written sub, then R1, Q, R1, which is incorrect. And in the comment section, you have added R1 equals to Q, sorry, doing this one. R1, Q. And this is incorrect. In subtraction, at the time of subtraction operation, at first you have to write the first operand and then the second operand, and this term is Q minus W into S, not W into S minus Q. Is that clear? Then question number 3. Question number 3 is create the symbol table with proper explanations according to the following data definition statements of assembly language. So 5 data definition or variable declaration statements are given. According to this definition, you have to write the offset number as well as you have to explain why the offset number is this one. Okay. So what will be the explanation? At first, you will create the symbol table. So there are 5 variables. The first variable is value. Okay, so this is our symbol table. So we can write the name of the variable, and this is for offset number. So there are 5 variables: value, sum, then marks, message, that's name. Okay. So what was the first data definition statement? The first data definition statement was value DB0. I'm writing the statement here. This is the first data definition statement. Okay, what is the meaning of this statement? There are 3 fields. This is the variable name, this is the directive or COD opcode, and this is the initial value. Okay, so what will be the offset number of this variable value? The offset number will be 0, right? For
Yes,
value, the offset number is 0. So what will be the explanation? The explanation is this value is the first variable. That means there is no preceding variable of value. So no memory locations are allocated. That's why we can use the first memory byte, because this is a defined byte type variable. The COD opcode is defined byte. That's why the offset number of value is 0. This will be the proper explanation. And then the second data definition statement is sum DW 1712. Okay, so when we create the symbol table, at that time we have to find out how many preceding variable this variable sum has. So sum has only one preceding variable, that is value, and it's a byte variable. There is only one initial value. That's why 1 byte will be allocated for value, which means that the offset number of sum is 1. So why the offset number of sum is 1? Because it has one preceding variable and it is a byte variable, and it has how many elements? Only one element. So for storing that element, we need only a byte. So the offset number of sum is 1. And then the second variable is marks, and its data definition statement was marks, and then a time directive, then 5 initial value is 0. So what is times directive? If the variable is string variable and if all the elements of that variable has same initial value, then we use this times directive. So the definition is marks This is the variable name times directive 5. That means it has 5 elements and it's a double word type variable. So for storing each element, we need 4 consecutive memory bytes and the initial values are 0. So for marks, look, marks has how many preceding variable? Only 2 preceding variable. And for storing value, we needed only 1 byte of the memory. For sum, how many bytes are needed? Sum is a double word type variable and it has 2 initial values, which means that it's array variable. And for storing each element, we need how many memory bytes? 2 memory bytes. So total 4 bytes are needed. So for marks, the offset number will be, what will be the offset number of marks? Now
5.
the first 5 bytes are used. The first 5 bytes, that is from 0 to 4. These 5 bytes are used. That means the offset number of marks will be 5. And then the next variable is message. This is the declaration statement that message define byte E, then a blank space X A underscore M 0. Okay, so this message, what type of variable it is, it's array variable, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we know that in assembly language program, the variable can have different types of data, right? So this variable message has some string type, some character type data as well as some integer type data. So this message has how many elements? 1, then a blank space 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an integer, which initial value is 0. So there are total 7 elements. But how will you count the offset number of message? How many preceding variable it has? 3 preceding variables, isn't it? For value, we needed 1 byte of memory. For sum, 4 bytes. For marks, now how many bytes will be there? Marks is string variable. It has 5 elements and the variable is a double type variable. So total 4 into 5, that is 20 bytes needed. So for message, the offset number will be how many bytes reduced? 1, 4, that is 5. 5 plus 20, 25. That means 0 to 24. These 25 memory bytes are now used. So the offset number of message is 25. And now the last variable is name. Data definition statement is name defined byte. Okay. Okay, so now name variable 4, and for storing message, how many bytes? 7, right? So for name, the offset number will be, so 1 plus 4, 5, 5 plus 20, 25, 25 plus 7, 32. So 0 to 31, these 32 bytes are now used. So the offset number of name will be 32. Is that clear? Hello. Hello.
But
Yeah.
ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
hello,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Can you,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
ma'am, in message, ma'am, between E and X, there is a
Any
space.
question?
But ma'am, in question paper, actually, ma'am, for hardiness, I can identify the space. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
You just identify the space. Yeah, listening.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
It's noticeable. So there is space. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so
For this reason,
yes.
offset
I'm
number
listening.
decrease, ma'am, 31. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So
Sorry. Hello.
can you consider this mistake, ma'am. Actually, after that space, as there's no underscore, so ma'am, are you?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear
Sorry,
me?
I connected. Yes. Okay, so the next one is question number 4. So what is question number 4? Execute the following instructions and find out the result of this operation when AL equals to 1101 10010. So in these two operations, you can use the same value of AL. And the first instruction is move CL to shift left AL, CL. So the first operation is a left shift operation, right? Question number 4, the first instruction is move CL to, then shift left AL here. And here AL equals to 1010010. So what is left shift operation? In left shift operation, all the bits will be shifted to the left side. That's called left shift operation. And the first instruction is move to. This is a count register. So we'll use the next instruction that shift operation will be performed 2 times, right? So there will be total 2 shift of operation. This is the result of first shift operation, and this is the result of second shift operation. Okay. So for first shift operation, the operand will be which one? AL, right? And here the value of AL is for the first operand. This is for the first shift operation. This is your source operand. Okay. 1 0 1 0 1 0. But maximum of you have written the answer of or the result of the first shift operation here, but that is actually incorrect. For the first shift operation, this is your operand. This is the data which the operation will be performed. And these are the bit position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In left shift operation, all the bits will be shifted to the left side. So now when the first 2 bits will change their position, that is this one, 0. When this bit will take the position of 1, at that time an empty position. Okay, so in this empty space, we will add an extra 0. What about the leftmost bit or MSB? For storing this now, look, when this bit 1 will take the position of this bit 1, at that time, the leftmost bit or MSB will be shifted here inside a carry flag register, and that value will be discarded. So for the second shift operation, we'll use the result of the previous operation as source operand. So for the second shift operation, the operand will be 0 1 0 0 1 0 1. Okay, and then we'll add an extra 0 bit. So this 1 bit is now discarded. And this is a source operand for the second shift operation, but this is not the result of this operation. So now we'll perform the same operation here, that is left shift operation. In this way, this bit will be now discarded. So the result of this shift operation will be 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Correct? Is this a result 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0? Hello? Can you all hear me? The instruction was move AL to, move CL to shift left L CL. Okay, so here the opcode is left shift, which means that the bit will be shifted to the left side, and this shift operation will be done 2 times because CL equals to 2. Okay, so there will be 2 shift operation. This is the first shift operation and this is the second shift operation. So for the first shift operation, which one is your source operand? You can use the original value of the register AL, and here AL equals to 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. For the first shift operation, this is your source operand, right? So there will be total 8 bits. This 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. And these are the bit position 0 to 7. So this is left shift operation. That means each bit is going to be shifted to the left side, right? That means now this bit 0, initially it's in this position, its position is 0, but after a left shift operation, it will take the place of the next bit, isn't it? So after shifting each bit to the left side, now the most significant bit, the MSB, will be stored inside a carry flag register. This is a carry flag register, and that bit will be discarded. And when you shift the rightmost bit, at that time an empty space will be created here, so you can just fill up that place by adding an extra 0 bit. So for the second left shift operation, now this is the second left shift operation. For this operation, your source operand will be the result of the previous shift operation. And what is the result of previous shift operation? One zero one zero zero 1 0 0. This is the result of the shift operand. Use this operand as the source operand for the second shift operation. Again, you will just each bit to the left side. In this way, we get the result of this shift operation. So got it, and we added an extra 0 bit here. So the result of this will be 0 1 0 1 0 0 shift operation. Okay. And the question was, right? The question was ROR, that is rotate L1. So now the right rotate operation will be done 1 time is open 1 1 0 1 1 is right rotate operation just to the right side, isn't it? So for this right rotate operation, the source shifts. Operand will be 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. And 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Okay. So this is right rotate operation. Now the bits will be shifted to the right side. So now the bits will be shifted to the right side. So in this way, look, the initial position of 1 was 7. After a right shift operation, now its new position will be 6. So this is the result of the right rotate operation, that we are shifting the bits to the right side. So now this one bit will take the position here, the position 6, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. Now the rightmost bit will be discarded. So what will happen to this right? At first it will be preserved inside the carry flag register. Again, this bit will be added here in which position will add it? In this position 7. Look, after shifting the most significant bit, now the empty space is created here. So how will fill that position? By adding the rightmost bit of the right rotate operation. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is question number 4. Now the last one. So the last question is, suppose initially a stack is empty with 16 bytes of memory for stack operation. Represented in Pentium sort is the value of SSESP for doing operations with appropriate figures. So look, I don't know why you didn't read the question. It's written, the stack has the capacity to take 16 bytes data, and you can perform this push and pop operation on where you can add maximum 16 byte data in your stack. So what will be the initial position of your stack? Initially, this is figure number 1. The stack is stack and at the memory addresses, so it can take maximum 16 bytes data. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so initially the stack can take how many data? I mean, it has a capacity to take 16 byte data, and these are the memory addresses: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So initially the stack is empty, but it has a capacity to take 16 byte data with memory addresses 0 to 15. Segment register, ESP, extended stack pointer register, and top of the stack pointer. So we can assume that this is a byte that is 16. Now, initially, this is our top of the stack because the stack is empty, as well as the ESP always takes the memory address of the topmost element. So now this 16 is the top of the stack. So the value of ESP is 16, and this offset number 0, the segment register will point to that data 0. So the value of ASS and ESP will be 0 and 16. So this is the figure. This is the first figure. That initially stack is empty, but it has how many bytes? It can take 16 bytes data. Okay. Now the second figure will be for a push operation. Push 7, F 5 6 D9 AC H. Okay. So one characteristic of stack data structure when we implement it in Pentium processor, the characteristic is each, or we can insert only a 16-bit data or 32-bit data. So now we have to increase data, and is it a word with data? What do you think? Is it a word? It's a double type data. It means total 4 bytes. So our second figure will be, okay, I'm not drawing the figure. Okay, so for the second figure, from where we'll start, this is memory location, and we always have memory address. Okay, first this 5 will be added. Each of these are actually memory bytes. That's why at first we'll insert and then 6. After that, and then A, C. After inserting any element, now we are going to change the value of ESP on top of the stack pointer. This top of the pointer always points to the lower byte of the recently added element. This is our recently added element, and AC is the low loop. This is the lower byte. So we are going to add the pointer here. Now the top of the stack pointer will point to this location AC, and we have inserted a double word type data. That's why the value of ESP will be decremented by 4. Now the new value of ESP is 12. Look, this is the top of the stack, and it's point memory address 12. And this is the value of ES. But the stack segment register will not be changed. So always point the initial byte of the stack. So this is the figure after inserting month. Now operation and a push operation, push 15D. 15D9, it's actually a double word type data. That means we total how many bytes? 2. Lower byte of that 15 will be inserted. D. This is figure number C. So now after inserting this element, this is our newest element, and the lower byte, this is the lower byte of the data. Now the top of stack will point here. This is the position of the pointer, top of the stack. And how we are going to change the value of ESP? ESP always holds the offset address of the recently added element. This D9 is a lower binary, so we subtract 2 from the previous value. Now this is most element in offset number 10. Okay. The next operation is a pop operation. So pop. So we'll inside data structure we also delete the first element. So 1D9 is the first element. Okay. So here the 5D9 is double word